Welcome to another deep dive. We're really glad you're joining us today.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
So our mission today is well, we're trying to cut through a lot of the wellness hype
Mm.
because there is just so much of it out there right now.
Oh, definitely. It's everywhere.
Right. And we want to unpack everything there is to know about this green powder that is supposedly like both an ancient superfood and the food of the future. We are talking about spirulina.
Yes, spirulina. It's a really fascinating subject.
It really is. And to do this, we've got a pretty wild stack of sources today. I mean, we're looking at a centuries-old historical text to really robust clinical trials.
Including that really interesting meta-analysis on heart health.
Exactly. And a study from the Gaza Strip on malnutrition, plus a medical safety overview from Healthline, and finally, this really practical farmer's buyer guide on how to actually navigate the supplement aisle.
It's a lot of ground to cover, but it's all, incredibly connected.
So here's the hook for you listening. This little algae is apparently powerful enough to treat severe anemia better than pharmaceutical drops.
Yeah.
But, and this is a huge but, it can also act as this toxic sponge that might secretly be sabotaging your health if you buy the wrong bottle.
Right. And the key to understanding all of this, how it can be both a miracle and a hazard, it really just lies in its unique biology.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because before we dive into what spirulina does to the human body today, we kind of have to look back at its resume.
And it has quite the resume. I mean, we're talking about an organism with a 3 billion-year-old track record.
3 billion, that's just crazy. So what actually is it?
Well, technically speaking, spirulina, specifically the strain Arthrospira it's not even a true algae.
Oh, really?
No, it's a cyanobacterium, so a blue-green algae. And it thrives in these highly alkaline bodies of water, either fresh or salt water. And like plants, it uses photosynthesis to create its own energy.
Got it. And the historical texts we have here, they show that it used to grow naturally in places like Lake Texcoco in Mexico, right?
Yes, and also Lake Chad in Africa.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's this one detail from the sources that just blew my mind. Back in the 1520s, the Spanish conquistador Cortés actually documented the Aztecs harvesting this stuff.
Yeah, they were drying it out in the sun and baking it.
Yes. They're eating this dense green pie that they called the food of the gods.
Which is incredible when you think about it. And then you fast forward all the way to 1965, and a French botanist basically stumbles upon the exact same thing in Africa.
Right. He found the Kanembu women selling these edible green cakes in village markets along Lake Chad.
Exactly. Completely different continents, but the exact same cyanobacterium.
It's like the ultimate retro food. I mean, it's older than dinosaurs, it's sustained ancient empires, and now the sources mentioned it's given to astronauts as a nutritional supplement.
Yeah, NASA and the European Space Agency use it.
Right. But I just keep asking myself, how does a simple algae become a staple for both, ancient Aztec empires and modern astronauts?
Well, what's fascinating here is its biological efficiency.
Okay, what do you mean by that?
So it thrives in these really harsh, high-temperature, highly alkaline environments where almost nothing else can survive.
Right, so it doesn't have any neighbors to fight with.
Precisely. It doesn't have to compete for resources. So it just uses all of its energy to synthesize a ridiculously dense profile of macro and micronutrients.
Ah, I see.
I mean, it yields a massive 60 to 80% protein by weight.
80%, that's huge.
It is. But biologically, it's also a bioaccumulator. And this is crucial.
That's the sponge thing we talked about earlier, right?
Exactly. Being a bioaccumulator means it pulls dissolved compounds right out of the water it's growing in, and it concentrates them inside its own cells.
It just hoards whatever's floating around.
Yes, it acts like a cellular sponge. And that one biological trait that sets up the entire scientific paradox of spirulina.
Okay, so let's get into the clinical reality of that, like how it actually fixes the engine of the human body.
Yeah.
Because that exact sponge-like nutrient density is why scientists are deploying it against some of these, the toughest health crises out there today.
Yeah, and the Gaza Strip study from our sources is a perfect example of that.
Yes, let's talk about that. This was a trial looking at malnutrition.
Right. It involved 87 malnourished children, all under the age of 5.
Oh, wow.
And malnutrition at that level, it causes severe issues with red blood cell production. It leads to severe anemia.
So they took these kids and split them into 2 groups to test different treatments.
Exactly. So the first group, they received the standard regimen. carefully selected pharmaceutical vitamins and specialized iron drops.
Like scientifically formulated stuff.
Right. And the other group just got 3 grams of spirulina mixed with dates.
Just 3 grams. That's what, like a teaspoon?
Roughly, yeah. The dates were just to make it taste a bit better for the kids.
Okay, so you have highly engineered pharma drops versus a teaspoon of algae mixed with dates. What happened?
Spirulina actually outperformed the vitamins.
Wait, really? It beat the pharmaceutical drops?
Yes. The children taking the spirulina showed significant improvements in their height, their weight, serum iron, ferritin levels.
Basically everything across the board.
Yeah, their overall hemoglobin improved dramatically. It was significantly better at reducing their anemia than the standard medical regimen.
That is just, I mean, how is that even possible?
It really comes down to bioavailability. The iron in spirulina is just, it's incredibly easy for the human body to absorb compared to synthetic iron drops.
Got it.
Plus, spirulina has this very high C-phycocyanin and vitamin B12 content.
C-phycocyanin, what's that?
It's a blue pigment, basically a powerful antioxidant. And it enhances red blood cell production. It fixes the internal machinery.
Okay, so it's not just dumping raw iron into the stomach, it's actually giving the body the tools to use it. So that's kids with malnutrition. But this stack also had this huge meta-analysis on cardiovascular health in adults.
Oh, yes. A massive review. 12 different trials, over 800 people in total.
That's a really solid sample size. What were they looking at?
Mostly adults dealing with cardiovascular issues, and the results were striking. They found that taking a daily supplement of spirulina—
How much, like what was the dose?
the data shows you need at least 2 grams per day consistently for 12 weeks or more.
Okay, 2 grams for 12 weeks. What did it do?
It significantly lowered total cholesterol. We're talking an average drop of about 36.6 milligrams per deciliter.
Wow.
Yeah, and it also lowered LDL, which is the bad cholesterol, and triglycerides. It even lowered fasting blood glucose and diastolic blood pressure.
So it's basically a complete tune-up for your blood.
That's a great way to put it, yeah.
But here's where it gets really interesting.
Yeah.
I have to push back a little here. Because if it's doing all of this lowering glucose, fixing lipids, why didn't these people lose any weight?
Right, that's—
Because the meta-analysis specifically noted there were no significant changes in body weight or BMI, not a single pound.
Yeah, it's a really common misconception, honestly. People assume that improving cardiovascular health automatically equals weight loss.
Right, you think healthy art, skinny body.
But spirulina, it fixes the internal engine. It improves blood lipids, it builds iron stores, it regulates glucose, but it's not a stimulant.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't artificially ramp up your metabolism to burn fat. It's a cellular repair tool, not a magic weight loss pill.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So it's healing the damage, but it's not going to melt off 30 pounds just by adding a scoop to your water.
Exactly. The benefits come from the antioxidants and vitamins doing the quiet work behind the scenes.
Okay, so it's this miraculous anemia-fighting, heart-healing superfood. But we really need to pivot here, because we have to talk about the dark side of this sponge.
We do, because that biological trait being a bioaccumulator, it's a massive double-edged sword.
Yeah, I keep thinking about this analogy. It's like leaving a perfectly clean sponge in a sink full of dirty, greasy dishwater.
It just soaks it all up.
Exactly. And you would never, ever take that dirty sponge, wring it out, and put that liquid into your morning smoothie.
Right, you'd get terribly sick. And this raises an important question for consumers, because where your spirulina grows is just as important as what it is.
Because of wild harvesting, right. The sources talked a lot about that.
Yes, a lot of wild harvested algae, especially a strain called Aphanizomenon flossakwe. It's often literally just scooped out of open lakes.
And open lakes have boats and runoff and pollution.
Exactly. They are highly susceptible to heavy metal pollution. But even worse, when blue-green algae is stressed by predators or bad environmental conditions, it produces toxins called microcystins.
Right, the Healthline overview flagged those. They're basically defense chemicals, right?
Yes, and they are highly toxic to the human liver. They can cause severe damage.
And the scary part is, this isn't just some theoretical risk. There was this independent lab survey in our stack.
The one that tested products off the shelf.
Yeah, they just bought regular algae supplements that anyone can buy, and they found microcystins above safe limits in 22% of the products they tested.
Over 1 in 5 bottles.
Over 1 in 5. And one of those products was delivering 75 times the tolerable daily intake of liver toxins.
That's That's incredibly
It
dangerous.
caused a massive recall, right? Like, quote, over 70,000 bottles were pulled. So what does this all mean for you, the listener, standing in the grocery store aisle? Are people basically playing Russian roulette with their morning smoothie?
Well, the organism itself isn't the problem. The environment is. That's what you have to be careful of.
Okay. But there are also biological risks, even if it is clean, right? Like the immune system overdrive thing,
Yes. So spirulina strengthens your natural killer cells, your NK
which
cells.
sounds great, right?
Yeah.
Everyone wants to boost their immune system.
It sounds great in marketing, yes. But if you have an autoimmune condition like lupus or multiple sclerosis or rheumatoid arthritis, your immune system is already hyperactive. It's attacking your own body.
So if you take spirulina, you're basically giving weapons to the army that's already attacking you.
Exactly. You're exacerbating the condition. It also acts as a natural anticoagulant.
It thins your blood.
Right. Which is very dangerous if you're already taking prescription blood thinners.
Yeah, that could lead to serious bleeding issues.
And one more critical thing from the safety overview, it contains an amino acid called phenylalanine.
Right, and people with PKU have to strictly avoid that, right?
Yes, PKU is a rare genetic disorder where the body can't break that amino acid down, and it can cause severe neurological damage. So they must avoid spirulina entirely.
Okay, so assuming you don't have an autoimmune disease,
Yep.
you're not on blood thinners, and you don't have PKU, you just want the heart benefits, but you don't want to destroy your liver with toxins.
All right.
This brings us to the Farmer's Buyer Guide. Because reading this, I realized that basically everything we've been taught about healthy shopping is just wrong here.
It completely upends the normal rules, yeah.
Let's start with the big one, the organic fallacy. This blew my mind.
Oh, the organic label on algae.
Yeah, we all look for that organic sticker, right?
Yeah.
But the guide says organic is practically meaningless for spirulina. Why?
Because organic rules were written for soil crops. They dictate what fertilizers and pesticides you can spray on dirt.
But spirulina grows in water.
Exactly. It's an aquatic organism. The water determines the purity, not the soil rules.
And the sources cited a 2024 independent test. Those just shocking. They tested organic greens, and they were actually more likely to exceed lead limits than the non-organic ones.
Yeah, because if the water source feeding that organic farm has heavy metals in it, the spirulina will act as a sponge and absorb all of it, organic or not.
So if we can't trust the organic sticker, what do we actually look for?
You need a COA, a certificate of analysis.
Okay, but a lot of boxes say third-party tested right on the front. Isn't that enough?
No, absolutely not. Third-party tested printed on a cardboard box is just a marketing claim. You need the actual batch-specific document from an independent lab.
Like a piece of paper that proves they tested that specific batch.
Yes, proving they tested for microcystins and heavy metals. If a brand won't provide the COA for the exact bottle you're buying, don't buy it.
Got it. And what about how it's grown? Because the guide mentioned something about photobioreactors.
Right. You want to look for brands that use closed photobioreactors instead of open raceway ponds.
Because open ponds are exposed to bird droppings and dust and wild algae.
Exactly. A closed system is essentially a series of sealed tubes. It completely controls the environment, which is crucial for a bioaccumulator.
Okay, so you find a brand with closed tubes, and they give you the COA. Okay, right. Well, no, because then there's the heat problem.
The drying process.
Yeah, the sources point out that phycocyanin, that amazing blue antioxidant that fixes your blood, is highly sensitive to heat.
Very sensitive, yes.
And apparently, standard spray drying blasts the algae at like 180 to 200 degrees Celsius.
Which is incredibly destructive. It destroys about 20% of the phycocyanin right off the bat.
And it nukes almost all the omega-3s too. Even oven drying cuts the antioxidants by 55%.
Which is why fresh frozen spirulina is really the gold standard. It preserves the nutrients without that massive heat damage.
Okay, so I have a question about that blue color. Because if I go on social media, I see people paying crazy amounts of money for this trendy blue spirulina powder to put in their smoothie bowl.
Oh, the aesthetic smoothie bowls.
Yeah, so if I buy that bright blue powder, am I even getting the real deal?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, no, you're not getting whole spirulina.
Wait, really? What is it then?
Blue spirulina is just an extract. It's the phycocyanin pigment isolated away from the rest of the organism.
So it's basically just natural blue food color.
Exactly. You're missing out on the 60 to 80% protein, the iron, the B12, all the complex synergy that makes the whole food so beneficial.
Wow. So they strip away the best parts just to make it look pretty on Instagram?
Basically, yes. Quality in the supplement world is about the process, the provenance, and the documentation. It's never about aesthetic marketing buzzwords.
That is such a huge takeaway.
Right.
So just to wrap this all up, we've gone on quite a journey today.
We really have, from the Aztecs to the space station.
Right. And down to the Gaza Strip, looking at how it fights severe anemia. I mean, you listening now know that spirulina is this miraculous, heart-healing bioaccumulator.
But one that requires absolute vigilance.
Exactly. You have to demand those COAs, look for controlled closed farming, and avoid wild harvested toxic heavy metals.
And there's actually one final thought on that sponge-like nature that I think is worth mulling over.
Oh, what's that?
Well, scientists know that spirulina is one of nature's most perfect, highly efficient sponges for absorbing heavy metals out of water.
Right, which is why we have to be so careful buying it.
Exactly. But because it's so good at that, maybe its ultimate destiny in the future isn't just as a superfood that we eat.
Wait, what else would we use it for?
As an ecological tool. Imagine deliberately deploying massive blooms of spirulina into our planet's most polluted lakes and waterways.
Oh, wow.
Using its biology to act as a bioremediation sponge to actually clean up the Earth's water supply.
So using the very trait that makes it dangerous to us to actually heal the planet, that's an incredible thought to end on.
It's a fascinating area of research.
Well, next time you see that green powder on the shelves, I hope you remember the ancient history, the cellular engine it repairs, and of course, the dirty dishwater sponge. Thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive. Keep asking questions about those healthy labels, and we'll catch you next time.